BD5 pilot with you out at the Hillsboro hangar on a Sunday morning, and that Pro Seal set up real nice. Everything's looking good. No surprise runs or messes after I got back, and that latch, I'm pretty happy with how it's working. Now what I'm dealing with right now, you see all those little cable runs, the push-pull cables, and I need to make sure those stay out of the way of the trim cables, which are laying on the floor right now, because I'm taking the measurement where I'm going to put the little hole to operate that throttle through that clevis pin, and the throttle push-pull actually worked really nice with that cable stay that I've got. But let me show you what I've designed to try to get the rest of those cables and that static line. It's actually the line for the angle of attack that puts the air through it. Now, nobody seems to make these, so I made them myself. I took some 25 thousandths aluminum and preformed some of the bins, and then took some oak and made a little die that I could then place into the press and press onto the preformed part, and then finish the bins. Now I just have to put them in place, put the little holes in, and see if that's going to keep everything tidy and out of the way. Well, there's an idea that I can say worked. Keeps everything tucked up there nice and away from the controls and interference, and onto a little bit more installation. And now you can see this is coming together nicely. I've got a throttle that now operates the linkage. If we pop back there, we'll see. Hopefully that moving like it's supposed to. At least it looks like I can see it moving. And I've got clearance up here. I changed the position on these switches. I put my smoke up here closer to that top edge, so it's coming off the throttle. And then my battery backup, my lights are down a little lower, so they're easier for me to see what's going on with the light functions. And now I'm just going to finish putting this back together, so make sure all the clearances are right, and see what it works like once it's assembled. You know, I really love it when a plan works out well. And there may be some of you in my audience who say that, oh, I'll never use math again. Well, guess what? I used math. I needed 3/4 inch travel on that throttle to operate the throttle on the engine without going to a different lever on that mechanism, and this worked out just right. I measured the full length and where I needed to basically put the radius to get that travel, and it was at just a little over 7/8 inch from the center of the pivot for that throttle, and ended up with exactly 3/4 inch travel from full throttle to idle. So it worked out beautifully. Everything else was working too. Look at that. I can operate my latches from the inside or outside. And the push pulls are the correct length now, so I got my choke, I got my fuel cut off, and it's all coming together. Next item is going to be on this engine. Yeah, I've got to get that gear pulled off, and where those throttle and choke cables are. Notice how that's a little plastic fitting. It's used a lot in the RC world, and I need to find a all metal fitting, aluminum or some material that's going to give me more trustworthiness than plastic would on that, especially the throttle. And I'll let you know what I find, but I don't have to replace those arms on the carburetors, so I'm happy about that. Well, that wraps up a nice Sunday's morning and afternoon worth of work, and I'll be back with you actually in 2 weeks, because I've got to be in Dallas this coming weekend for a seminar, and who knows if I'll show up at that museum again that has that giant BD5, the Lear fan. BD5 pilot's out for now. Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving if I don't get to talk to you before then.